Sadhano Vanatu Sahadutyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Together we'll chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, verses 11 to 20.
अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुम् मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागम् ततः कुरु यतात्मवान् श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानाध्यानम् विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः त्यागाच्छान्तिरनन्तरम् अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोकः लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः अनपेक्षः शुचिर्दक्षः उदासीनो गतव्यथः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान्यः स मे प्रियः समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समः सङ्गविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतस्थिरमतिः भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदम् यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्दधाना मत्परमाः भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः
A bhakta understands the futility of this entire world and therefore has no reaction to any part of it. What is there to react about? The best of things happening, the worst of things happening. Frankly, we all stay exactly the same. Nothing has really changed. And the bhakta gets that. It's very difficult to get that because we keep thinking, ye hoga to something is going to happen. Actually, nothing is going to happen. Life is going to continue more or less the same. There'll be a slight blip, either upwards or downwards. And then the graph of your life will continue more or less the same. It makes no difference whatever happens and doesn't. We work not because something will happen. We work because कोई और काम धंधा है ही नहीं. What else are you going to do? You're going to sit down and eat ice cream all day. You can't do that, because if you eat ice cream all day, you will get some negative repercussions out of it. So you have to work. Now, if you have to work, what work will you do? Whatever you can do to serve others, to create good in this world, what other work is there to do? Okay, so you're doing the work that you're supposed to do. Life is so uncomplicated and simple when the fundamentals are understood. There is nothing that I will gain in this world that will make my lot any better, and nothing that I will lose in this world that will make my lot any worse. Now, we cannot digest this idea. We say that's not true at all. Once this problem of mine gets sorted, then I'm going to be absolutely okay. How many times in our lives have we said that? How many times? How many problems have got sorted? How many problems have got created? This will go on. We have been more or less the same. No? क्या फर्क पड़ा at the end of it? And sum total is zero only. Go up or go down, sum total is going to be zero. So once you digest that, you have no problem with what is going on. Then what is your feeling? Are you like so depressed and pessimistic about everything? Arey baapre, everything is useless. No, it's just the opposite. You're very content with everything. Today is wonderful. However it is wonderful. And tomorrow will show us something new. So chalo, thoda mirch masala ho jayega. Again, it's all, everything is fine. The way it is, it's fine. So you're content. And this contentment starts growing on you. Not because you tell yourself it's fine, but because
you're doing what needs to be done.
Very good. You're doing what you ought to do. This contentment just keeps growing as you simply do what you ought to do. Now, all of us who are involved in the fundraising, we are calling everybody and saying, Bhaiya, kuch de do. Some people will say, sure, we're doing such great work. Of course, one man said, I said, let me explain to you what I'm doing. He said, no, a person like you doing something, I don't even want to know. It's fine. And whatever. Some people turn around and say that this whole project is not even viable. It is never going to last. It will, a whole lecture they'll give you, 1 hour they'll spend of yours, and they won't give you a single cent. Different types of people you will meet. Right? What were you expecting? Everybody's going to say the same thing? Obviously not. Everybody will say whatever they want to say. That's it. Your job was to call them up, tell them what we are doing. If they like what we are doing, then they give something. If they don't like what we are doing, they'll waste your time. Some people will waste your time and still not give you anything because they'll keep saying how wonderful it is, but they won't give you anything. So all this is, mentally you know that these are the categories of people you're going to meet. Some people are going to give because they don't know how to say no. Some people are going to tell you you're wonderful and give you nothing. Some people are going to tell you you're terrible and then sometimes convert and give you something. Different types of people you meet. But the contentment has not to come from what they did. It doesn't come from that. It comes from
What I'm doing.
The effort you put in. Because you know you are doing what according to you is right action. And there's ultimate contentment in that. You've done what you can. That's it. That's all you want to, that's all you are capable of doing. And you did it. And why did you do it? Because you're grateful for what all you have received. You're not expecting to receive. You have already received. There's no expectation of gain. It's already there. And out of that gratitude, you're working. You're working out of the understanding that actually, whatever happens, it's going to make no difference to you. Nothing whatsoever. Some people are angry with me, some people are happy with me. Those who are angry with me, they will not sleep that night. Those who are happy with me, they will sleep that night. It doesn't affect me, right? Some people say you're the world's greatest soul. They have pleasant thoughts because they think pleasant ideas. Some people think negative thoughts, so they have their consequences. But whether somebody thinks you're the greatest soul or the world's worst soul, what's happening to you? Nothing. Whatever anybody's opinion is मैं क्या करूं? Sum total for us of anything happening in the world is zero. Out of that understanding, out of the gratitude for what we have, we work, we do what is correct for us, and we achieve supreme contentment. That's it. It's a very simple, uncomplicated thing. It gets complicated when we don't do this. The moment you don't do this, the complications will start. Then, whatever you do have, you don't establish your ownership on it. This is mine. You don't come anywhere close to it. I mean, even with the donation, people want to know, oh, तो मुझे क्या मिलने वाला है? The donation दे रहे हो तो दे तो दो. No. Will my name come? Everybody tells me, oh, you must have the say that this is whatever. Put somebody's name, this university, then they'll give the whole fund. And I say, no, you can't have your name there. It is Vedanta University. Nobody's name is going to be there. They say, oh, then how will the funds come? Well, let them come correctly or let them not come. These are the two options. We are not doing all this nakra. So that feeling of possession, this is my name, this is my house, this is my spouse, this is my furniture, this is my diamond. We have to put our chapa on everything. It's so foolish. In Vairagya Shatakam, it says it's a jhuti thali. Somebody has eaten in that thali. Now it's your chance to eat. After you, somebody else is going to eat in that thali. Everything that you have possessed, including the air you breathe, has been enjoyed by someone before you and will be enjoyed by someone after you. On what are you establishing this possession? Do you know? They've worked it out. These Americans are very good at working things out. What we do philosophically, they work it all out in stats and all. See, we are living on the planet Earth. This Earth is surrounded by air. Okay, same air. This air gets circulated constantly in various ways, right? It's all combining with each other and circulating, and all sorts of things are going on in this air. They worked out that the air that Alexander must have breathed in or breathed out, those molecules, I mean, in different forms and all, are being breathed in today by some of us here. Some of the breath we take is the breath that Alexander took then. So they worked out how the change takes and all. They do all this stuff. What to us is merely a principle. They actually do so, which is very good. It's a good thing they do that. We can work out now which breath we are taking is a breath that Alexander has breathed out. You might say, no, not the breath you have is yours. And you said, this is mine, this is mine. What mine? Sab kuch jhuti thali hai. Everything that you have enjoyed has been enjoyed by someone before you. And the same thing will be enjoyed by someone after you. It's a Behti Ganga. The Ganga is flowing. What are you inaugurating? Ye mera hai. What do you mean ye mera hai? There is nothing there. The stream is flowing. So when you understand there is really nothing here that I can call mine, nothing, not the breath I take, not this body. I think this body was, these molecules that make up our body have been floating around this universe since it began. The diamonds that you wear were originally formed in the bursting of a star somewhere. What are you calling your own? Imagine how many millions of years that star was formed, the pressures came out right, till the carbon and the heavy metals all came along, heavy elements came along. Then that star died, it burst, it spewed all its contents all over the place. And then again, these things moved around somehow. God knows how they all move around so much. And then they formed this solar system. Another star came. This gravitational force attracted various things. Okay, after some time, this galaxy will merge with another galaxy. The two giant black holes in the middle will maybe collapse into each other. I don't know what they're going to do. There will be no Milky Way galaxy. There will be no Earth. There will be no solar system. These molecules in your body will continue to be there somewhere, somehow. And today you are residing in this body, excuse me, and saying, this is mine. Pagalpanti ki had hai. Where does it come from? Where is it going? You have absolutely no control, but you say, this is mine. This is not lunacy. What is lunacy? So, that sense of possession is discouraged because why is it discouraged? Because
there's nothing there, that there's nothing to possess.
It is false. You are establishing a false idea when you say this. It's not true at all. Okay, now don't misunderstand this and say, oh, this body is not mine. Then when the robber comes into my house, then let him take everything away. Don't be pagal. Don't go from one extreme to the other extreme, for heaven's sake. It's not yours, but it is yours to maintain. You are at the moment given trusteeship of it. It is your job to take care of it. You can't say it's not mine. Why should I go and exercise? Vipraj, no coming up with all this logic. It's not my body. Why should I bother exercising? I know all these young children, they will come up with all these arguments. No, it is not yours, but it is yours to maintain. So don't say, oh, it's not mine, it's not mine. It's okay now. I'm a diabetic, I'll eat sweets, kuch bhi ho jayega. No. You are the trustee of this thing and you will take care of it to the best of your ability without this feeling that it is mine and I own it. That's the state of a bhakta. When Janaka is given as this great example of a renunciate, the kingdom is his to take care of, to palofy and followfy. That's his job. It's like God, right? I mean, not like God, it's like Modi. Modi is the trustee of our country. It is his job to make this country prosper and grow and develop. But if he says, this is my country and I will do with it whatever I want, then you and I both understand this is an incorrect. Right? So if it's wrong for him to do it, if it's wrong for a king to do it, then it's wrong for us to do it with what we possess. It's the same thing. If we as a people do not have that sense of possessiveness and holding on and ownership, then our rulers also will not have it. But if we have it, we cannot tell them not to have it. First, let's walk the talk. So, what is here? Pravesh, God is the supreme power and controlling everything. Then why this Maya has more powerful impact? Both sentences, Pravesh, are not correct. God is the supreme power and controlling everything. God is neither supreme power and nor controlling everything. God is simply what exists. God is the truth. It's the reality. Why this Maya has impact? Maya has no impact. It has no impact at all. Because the truth, the reality doesn't change. It stayed ever the same. Okay, now you say, no, I know for certain that Maya is having impact. I can experience that Maya is having impact. Everything you're saying is wrong. Now think about this very, very carefully. Take the most famous example from Vedanta, which is the rope and the snake. There is a rope. For all those who are new, this is a very famous example where there is a rope and a boy, a young child maybe, mistakes it for a snake. All right. Now, let us say that this boy is talking to you and he says to you, oh my God, there's a snake over there. It's so frightening. To which you will say, no, beta, there is no snake there. There is only a rope. No, it's a very frightening snake and I'm getting terrified because of that snake. So, no, beta, it's only a rope. So then there's no power, there's no snake over there, it's just a rope. To which the child asks you, if you're saying that only the rope is there, then why is the snake having an impact on me? Because the child says, what is this powerful impact that the snake is having on me? And what will your answer be? It's having no impact. You believe there's an impact because you believe there's a snake. When the belief of the snake goes, the impact goes away. You think there's a snake and you get frightened. Do you know people have died out of snake bite when there was only a rope? So why is this powerful impact there? Because you are allowing this impact. What reason can you say? How did that person die of a snake bite when there was only a rope there? Is there any answer to this question? How did that snake become so powerful when it didn't exist? Is there an answer?
Because you believe, in your mind, it's your belief. That's what you believed it was a snake.
So in other words, it is not having an impact on you. There is no powerful impact it is having on you. Okay, Pravesh, are you slightly more confused than you were to begin with?
Actually, ma'am, I am totally agree, but somewhere it is quite confusing because everyone knows the truth, everyone on this earth. But the thing is that their intellect is not developed up to that level so that they will be able to understand the deep meaning of that. After knowing all the truth, they are under the influence of this Maya. Means these things comes automatically into their mind.
Everybody doesn't know. Who are these people who know? Nobody knows. That's why this knowledge is referred to as the royal knowledge, royal secret, because nobody knows it. Everybody knows only their body, mind, intellect.
But everybody claimed that we know.
Yeah, so that's why. So from that you realize what Vedanta has always said. Knowing is
becoming,
okay.
understanding.
Knowing is
Doing.
Knowing is doing. If it's not what you do, it's not what you know. So you understand now all these concepts people have over to gain so much knowledge. You have to get knowledge like that. If you're not doing it, you don't understand. You've studied this hundreds of times, or in Vedanta, knowing is doing. If you don't do it, you don't know it. It's that simple. So don't say that people know it. No, they don't. Nobody knows it. The greatest secret. It's the greatest open secret. It's open for everybody to know, and yet nobody knows this.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So there's no answer to your question, but at least you can understand the concept.
Well, it's quite complicated journey.
It takes time to digest, especially if you're struggling to understand. If you want to know it superficially, then it's easy. But if you're struggling to understand it, it does take some time to sort of wrap our heads around it. It's so alien, right? How can anyone tell you that what you're experiencing is not true? That doesn't make sense to anybody. It sounds ridiculous. Are I am seeing that this man is irritating me. I'm seeing I'm getting angry, and you're saying nothing is happening. How is that possible? So it's fun. It seems like that, but then at some stage, as you think and think and think and reflect upon it, you begin to see the same thing, and then you think to yourself, now I can see this. Then that time, why was I so upset about it? And you have yourself experienced this. You have today about something, maybe you're not so angry, which you were previously. That time it was too much for you. And today you look back and you say, why did I make that fuss about? So like that, when you get the whole. Sorry? So like that, when you slowly, as we grow up, as we mature, we begin to understand. Anandam Gopinath, are you saying something to us, or are you not muted? I cannot understand. So as you grow up, remember in your childhood, you were so upset about something happening. And as you grow up, you tell it as a joke. So now what I'm upset about, one day I will tell this also as a joke. But I have to grow up for that. Malti, may I share an example about power of mind experiment from a WhatsApp I received? I don't know, Malti, if it's an experiment that you are at least reasonably sure that it actually took place and there is some sort of, because WhatsApp, when you say it makes us feel that we are not sure whether you're going to tell.
Man, it was just Hari Om. It was one of the experiments done by the American scientists. Just did something, and same when the same thing that we, as you said, can explain or we accept, they need to do experiments, and they did this one with the rats, apparently with mice, and put them in underwater into a pool, and asked, they had to tread feet till they tread the water, and in about 15 minutes, it was like all their body organs, they were being monitored, they were going to die or whatever. So they get pulled out just in time before they know that, okay, they'll soon pass. And they said the next time they were put back in water, they said, guess how long they survived in under exactly the same conditions, and remember that they were already tired from having done the experiment once. All the mice, they were put back, and they said it was 60 hours, because they believed in their mind. Now they knew, they kept on. It was only the mind they thought that they're never going to be rescued, that didn't allow them to make the efforts. But having got 60 hours between 15 minutes and seeing the power that, when they knew that in the end that they were doing what they will get where they were going, the desired result, once they eventually got rescued, they managed to do it for 60 hours. I mean, imagine, I thought that was like, so once you know what the reality is, you're not going to drown. You make your efforts. They made so much more effort.
Yeah, good example. I mean, in terms of fitting the thought, good example. Now, whether it's true or false, we'll have
to
figure out. But yes, that's true. It is reasonable to assume that if people believed that they were going to be rescued, they would put in more effort. Mamita.
They would not die if they knew it was not a snake.
Yes, and nothing in this world is going to matter to us if you realize that it is not mattering. When you have a fight with your husband, most best example should be having a fight with your spouse. You have a fight with your spouse, then you're very upset, then you're crying or angry, or you don't speak to each other, and all this stuff goes on, right? Then what happens? What happens after that? Okay, you all fought, you all got angry, you didn't speak to each other. 1 or 2 weeks may have gone by. Then what happens?
Sort it out.
Back to
Nothing. We come back, live,
Sort it
don't
out.
have a fight again.
Yeah, correct. Kalyan. See, these bachelors are thinking carefully what must be happening. But you all know, you've seen your parents also. They will fight, fight, fight. Then after some time, what will happen? Life comes back to normal. Then again, what will happen? Then again, they'll go to a party and they'll say, oh, this was so wonderful. They go to a vacation. Oh, we had such a great time and blah, blah, blah. Then what will happen? Again, life comes back to normal. Then after some
That's normal. That's the norm. So the norm is the
yeah, no, they'll go have good times also. There'll be some good times. They'll say, oh, today's evening was very good. We had a very nice time. Or this vacation was very good. In this vacation, we didn't fight at all. They talk also like that. So we had a very good time. All this will go on. Then they come back. Then life is back to normal. Then what will happen after some time? Then again, they'll have a fight over something. Then again, they won't talk for some time. Now what will happen again? Life will come back. So what is the sum total of this? And married couples are so boring, they keep fighting on the same issue. At least if there are some different issues and also there'll be some excitement. No, same issue they will fight on. What happened to the 57 fights you already had on this issue? No, for entertainment, we'll fight on the same issue again. Arey Baba. So it's like, what happened? Nothing has happened. Life is going to be just the same. But there's been huge, like, oh, it was horrible. And then they both talk. Maybe the husband doesn't talk to his friends, but the wife will talk to her friends and say, and then you know what she said? He said to me, he just thinks that this is Hindu society. It's all patriarchal. And he wants to put all this thing on me. And she'll fight with all, tell her friends. And her friends also say, so sad, so sad. They'll spend 2-3 hours weeping over it. Then what? Then life comes back.
And the friends are enjoying.
Yeah. No, they will say, my husband is also like that, depending on what is the state with their husband at that time. But sum total of this whole up and down and good and bad and all of this is zero. Similarly, in life, in a business, up and down, you keep going on. You'll have a turnover of 500 crores, 1,000 crores. You are in exactly the same position. Those fellows who had no time when their turnover was 100 crores, was 1 crore, has no time when he has a turnover of 100 crores and has no time when he has a crore, 1,000 crores turnover. His life is just the same. But now he has a car, he has a better laptop, he has a jet. But how much time do you have? Exactly the same that you earlier had. As rushed as you felt when you were doing the one. I'll tell you something frankly. All my life, I don't know, all of us who are in our 50s now, all our life, we've had the same amount of time. When I was a student, as rushed as I felt, when I was running an institution, as rushed as I felt, it's exactly the same as a project of Vedanta University. Your experience of your life continues to be exactly the same. Would you agree? You always have the same amount of time, no matter what project you're doing, whether it is your education or your job or your retirement. Even in retirement, they still have the same amount of time. That is the amazing thing. I don't have time. The people who say they don't have time across the board. I know a retired gentleman yesterday told me, I've been very busy, very busy. What happened? I said, no, I can't tell you. It's just been a very busy period. So what happened? There are all these Diwali parties, and there is, I have to go to lunch and then to go to dinner. Same, when he was an executive, he used to speak in exactly the same. He had to go to this meeting, had to go to that meeting. He's speaking exactly the same. So I know this person almost his whole life. I've heard the same thing throughout. Even in retirement, I'm hearing the same thing. So we stay where we are unless
Grow up.
huh?
We grow up.
Unless we grow up. Very good. Unless we grow up. our experience of our life is going to be exactly the same. What is this powerful force holding us? No powerful force is holding us. Momita.
But Janki ji, before that, why do we resist growing up so much then?
You remember where is our friend? What is Priya? Where is Priya? Remember that picture that Priya drew? The seed is lying in the ground, and the seed is very happy over there, very comfortable. Right now, the seed doesn't want to come out of the ground and see the sun because it doesn't know what the sun is. It is very happy in the darkness underground. Think of your own life as a child when you're 5 years old. Did you want the joys of teenage? Suppose you're a 5-year-old child. Did you want to go or have a girlfriend or boyfriend? No, boyfriend. You didn't. Did you think, oh, one day I will have a boyfriend, be so nice? You never thought that thought. And if somebody had told you, grow up, you get a boyfriend, would you be interested? You can know what it's about. So when we have not developed, this is the biggest challenge that we don't want to. We are very content with where we are. We are happy. With our sorrows, with our everything, we are happy. We're comfortable. Why would we want to grow up? You're muted.
But we are not happy. Most of us are very uncomfortable where we are. But if someone tries to give us good advice, we will claim to be misunderstood and get upset.
Yeah. Because that is how it's going to appear. You tell a child, grow up, and then, some parents talk to their children like that, grow up, and then you can get a good job. 5 years old, you're telling the person, get a good job, as if the child is interested, study now, otherwise you won't get a good job. And the child couldn't care less, good job or otherwise.
I'm talking about if you're suffering.
Same thing. As a child, you suffered a lot. But when you were suffering then, you didn't call it, you said, I am suffering that time. Okay, and what do the children do? 50% of the time they spend crying over something or the other. Now you as an adult looking back say, oh, those were such good days. Now, I'm telling you that because now you think you didn't cry. But that time we were all crying. Why were we crying? Mummy didn't let me do this. My friend took my toy. Once I was very upset because my brother gave me a very nice rubber and I took it to school and somebody took my rubber away. And I got very, very upset that my rubber was gone. Right? Now, that time somebody had told me, why are you worried about this rubber? Grow up, get a good job. You'll get thousands of rubbers. Would I believe them? I said, no, I want this same rubber which my brother has given me. He gave me this rubber and it's my rubber, and how dare anyone? My recognition of sorrow and your solution to my problem don't seem to connect. That's why even Pravesh asked her question, because you're saying I should know the self, then my problems will go away. But in my mind, there's no connect between these two things. And it's not possible to get that connect because you have to grow up to get that connect. Grow up in the sense you have to study more and more and understand how is this connected. That's why many people say Vedanta is very theoretical. Because they're not able to connect it. But if you are able to connect it, you never think about how theoretical it is. Then it is, oh hell, how could I have been so stupid? The moment you're able to connect. So if once after the course, somebody told me, I'm very stressed. You studied Vedanta, just a family person, somebody who knows me. So you study Vedanta, you tell me what is the cause of stress. So I told him everything I studied, that the cause of stress is that your mind is out of the control of your intellect. And when it's out of the control, then this and this you will experience. So he told me, I don't think you have said anything about my problem. And I realized that, no matter how much you say these things, of course, my knowledge itself was very theoretical at that point. And I didn't speak to the person, I spoke to the question. If in the academy, if I had an exam question, this is how I would have answered it, and I would have got full marks for answering it like that. But when I'm talking to a human being, I can't talk like that because they don't know what the hell you just said. So that's when I realized that it's so tough for people who are not trained in the subject to see a connection between a truth and where I am. You're not able to join this. That's why they give up their Vedanta studies. This is for people who approach the subject, but for general people, they don't care.
Right. So in that example about the rats, we do experience the truths, like we get pulled out, but we don't try harder because we don't even realize it's a truth that we've experienced till we study the subject.
No, we do try harder, but we have not experienced enough for us to do more.
No, but I feel because you study a principle and you reflect on it, then you notice it. Otherwise, it doesn't come into your observation.
Of course. How will it? How will a math problem come to a person unless he studied math? I mean, he won't see it like that, right? Suppose there are two apples lying, and then somebody comes and adds two more apples. They won't think it as 2 plus 2. They will think it as abhi 1, 2, 3, 4. Abhi 4 hai yahan. So unless you study the principle, how will you apply? Okay, so how do we, Momita, your question on it, how do we know what we ought to be doing? That you already know the answer. Everybody will tell you. Who will answer, Momita?
Morning stress.
No. Morning still,
No.
that is always. But how do you know what you ought to do? Very good. Here's Ashia answering for you. What you ought to do is that which takes you to your goal. So for that, you have to know clearly where you're headed. And based on that, decide your action. We people do ulta. We decide an action and then justify to ourselves why we should do it. We have to begin with the goal. Begin with what is it I'm trying? And then what do I need to do to get there? Now, 9 out of 10 people will not do it like this. 99.99% of people will first decide what to do it, and then say, ye kaise hua, mujhe pata hi nahi. Are pagal hai kya? Everything that happens to you happens because you did something, you took an action, and now you got the result. Now what are you sitting and crying for? So how do you do what to do? What is it you're trying to achieve? And based on that, that's why, even when for the publication, I all probably know that Mamita's handling our publication way. So first, what do? We set a schedule. Then we write down, okay, this is happening, then this is happening, then this is happening. Now to achieve that schedule, we have to do this at this point, this at this point, this at this point. So you're breaking up actions. Otherwise, what will happen? The day you feel like editing, you edit. The day you feel like talking to the printer, you talk to the printer. Instead of doing it like that, you go the other way, which obviously you have to do, right? You make the schedule, say, on this day I have to do this. Whether I like it or not, I have to do this on this day.
Thank you.
Okay. So you learn to not be possessive about anything in life because it is not yours, it never was, and it never will be. But currently, because of your association with that thing, you will take care of it. With that thing, with that being, whatever. If you have a room, take care of your room. If you have a company, you will take care of your company. If you have a spouse, you will take care of your spouse. If you have a child, you take care of this child. None of it with your personal seal on it. You are doing it because you are in association with that thing. You live in a city, so you will take care of the city. You live in a building, so you will take care of the building. Because of your association with things, you will serve them, you will take care of them, because you are holding it in trusteeship for whoever comes next. And you're using it as an inheritance from whoever had it before you. So you are just one of the many people, and you play your part. And when you are when you look at life like this, you become steady-minded. Your mind is not rushing from here to there and there to here and there to here unnecessarily. You have settled down, as it were. People think that you study and then you get an occupation and then you get married and you have got children and they call it settling down. That's not how you settle down. That's how you get more agitated. How you settle down is you figure out what you're doing, you figure out why you're doing it, and then you get down to doing what needs to be done. And once you got this much clear, you are a settled human being, not random and fickle. All right, so let us do verse 20. Ye tu dharmyamrutamidam yathoktam paryupasate shraddhadhanamat paramaha bhaktastetiva me priyaha ye tu dharmyamrutamidam yathoktam paryupasate Shraddhadhanamat paramaha bhaktastetiva me priyaha ye tu dharmyamrutamidam idam dharmyam amrutam. This amruta dharma, amrutam dharmam is the eternal dharma, the eternal truths, the eternal law, reality. Ye is dehu, indeed, tu indeed, dharma amrutam, amrutam dharma. Dharma means the eternal laws, the eternal principles, that which is true. Idam, this eternal dharma, yathoktam. Yathoktam means yatha uktam, as has been said, paryupasat. Upasana means to worship. Paryupasat, very devotedly worship. Now, what people think when you say devotedly worship, will you take the Bhagavad Gita and you worship it? Don't take the Bhagavad Gita and worship it. Worship means pursue it with Shraddha, Shraddhadhana. Shraddha with Shraddha means pursuing it with the intent of reaching the end and continuing to do it till you reach the end. Not giving up anywhere in the middle. Shraddha means you continue, and you won't give it up until you reach the end. Mat paramaha. Believe in me to be the param, the highest. Means you are doing it for the self. Bhaktaste tiva me priyaha. Those bhaktas, ativa me priya. Those bhaktas are exceedingly dear to me. So he's given us these 35 qualities and ended with this, that those who with Shraddha pursue them, that you stay with it till you become it. There should be no difference between the knowledge in you. You are the knowledge. When you speak, you express the knowledge. When you act, you express the knowledge. When you perform any action, anything at all, how you keep your cupboard, how you keep your chappals, whatever it is you do, you are expressing that knowledge, because that knowledge in you are exactly the same. You stayed with it long enough until, what did she say? Rang de chunaria. That whole chunaria is rangofied with it. You have been colored with it. There is no difference between you and that thing. So if you pursue it like that with Shraddha, keeping him as the ultimate goal. Keeping him means keeping the self. That's why he says, mat, me. Keeping the self as the ultimate goal. Why are you doing this? Because that's where you want to reach. And if you do these, he says, te bhaktaha ativa me priyaha. Those bhaktas are extremely dear to me. Extremely dear to me means when somebody is dear to you, you're one with that. That means you will realize the self. You and the self become one and the same. So Shraddha is usually understood as faith. It's not just faith. It's a lot of stuff. What is faith? Faith is your belief in something until you get to know what it is you believe in. So faith is the stepping stone for knowledge. With faith, you work on it and work on it and work on it until you finally find it out. Faith exists in ignorance. But faith should be what makes you know. You have to be with your faith long enough, means work on it. Suppose you believe that water. Suppose you believe that if you heat water, it will boil. This is your belief. Now what do you have to do? Now you have to put the water on the flame and stay with it until it boils, or you find out that it doesn't boil. So your faith, something that you believed, has to either be proved right or proved wrong, and you have to stay with it until you know the answer to this thing. That is called Shraddha. It's not just faith as in, I believe that water boils. No, have you been with it long enough? Are you being with it long enough? Have you committed to be enough with it till you actually know it? And that knowledge is you. Now you're not going to lose it, right? Once you figure that much out. So it is something, faith is something which has not been verified, but you are going to verify it. You're committed to verifying it and finding out whether it's true or false. Then you are a bhakta extremely dear to me. So now, if we do shall we do a short summary of the chapter? Or no, we're doing a short summary. Do you want to do full and long summary next time? We can do summary and Q&A next time. Is that what you all want to do, or you want to do short summary this time? What would you all like to do?
Earlier one, what you said. Full and long one next time.
Full and long one, okay.
And a short one now also if we have time.
A short one we always have time for, because short one is very simple. We'll do the short one, and then next time we'll do a longer summary and we'll do a Q&A. Is that okay? Do you all want a Q&A? Otherwise, we can start the next chapter. Do you want a Q&A or anything between two chapters?
And I think you always take the Q&A anyway. You're always so good with the answering questions.
So your answer is yes, you want Q&A for after the chapter or not?
My answer was no, but I don't know about anybody else.
Fine, just say yours, na? Deepraj, yes. So we have one on both sides. So now somebody has to say something so that we can decide.
And Shankiri, those saying Q&A will have to send their questions.
Good point, Bharat. Everybody says Q&A because they think they can relax, but Q&A should be more work. So are you all going to send, how many people are going to send in questions? Deepraj, who else has a question or is likely to have a question? Milind, Omkar, you all have questions for next time. Okay, so at least 3 questions. Bharat, keep track of these people. If they don't send a question, you send them a donation link.
I'll be getting the questions now only.
Yes, we have to have penalty clauses in these things. Okay, so you please, all of you, send your questions if you all want. The rest of you all keeping quiet. Are you all asleep? Are you all there? Have you all gone away? What is it? I can't tell.
There has to be a donation even with the question, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
So donation either way, I think, if you all.
Okay, fine. You can see we are all getting desperate now. Okay, so let me do quick. Yeah, please send whatever questions you have. Please send them to Bharat so that he can, sort of show them on the screen and everybody is clear what the question is. Okay, so what is the summary? 3 minutes to summarizing chapter 12 of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna's question was, should I worship the self? As you have, should I worship the self, that formless reality? Or shall I worship you, as in the form, as in Krishna? To which Krishna tells him, worship me, meaning with the form. But I am better. I mean, worship me, form is better. And then, of course, he gives us his further thought on that, which is that there is a difficulty involved in worshipping the formless. So if you're experiencing that difficulty, then please worship the form. But we have to realize for ourselves that he is telling this to Arjuna. It is his matam for Arjuna. And therefore for us also. The higher state is worshipping the formless, which he explains. Okay, that's the first point. And second point he said is, there are progressive ways to do your sadhana. The best and the highest sadhana is meditation. If you're not able to do meditation, then you must try. And when you try, you have to try your meditation along with karma bhakti. Even if after trying you find it difficult, then you must get up from your seat and work in this world as an ambassador of the Lord. Everything that you do is only to express him. And if you find even that difficult to do, then do whatever it is you want in this world, but do it without hoping for any fruit. And then he said, if you're doing this correctly, what will show in you are these 35 qualities. These are the 35 qualities which we studied, which will show us how much we're doing this correctly. What do you mean by doing correctly? How much are you approaching the Lord? How much are you going closer and closer to the final destination? The closer you are, the more of these qualities will be there. This is the summary of the chapter. Bhargavi, I am in Arjun's state of confusion. That's very sad, Bhargavi, but at least you will have some question, because even Arjuna came up with some question after his confusion. So study the chapter, whatever you have studied. And if you have whatever question you have, whichever part is confusing, bring it up and we will do it next time. Okay. All right. So thank you very much. Hari Om.